are contained.
Okay.
Yes,
I know like pandas, this is kind of difficult to process. I can like feel it. So we'll just try to look at two simple things now, which are the group by function and a little bit on data cleaning. So just open a new notebook. Yeah, just open a new notebook. I'll name it SCOSH Pandas Group By. Now I hope everyone did this. So we are looking at group by function. Okay. So the group by function, it works on split, which is basically you will be grouping by, and then when you group by, you apply a function, and after you apply the function, it combines everything. Okay, so this is the whole concept. So you can find this concept everywhere on internet and YouTube videos. So basically it is how it's said. Group by works on split, apply function, and combining method. So what this all means, I'll just explain in a minute. So first of all, just import pandas again. So import pandas as PD. Now group by is kind of, it's difficult to imagine what's really happening, and applying in this whole main data set would be very difficult for you to imagine what's going on. So that's why we'll be using another data which would specifically work with it. So I'm just writing a dictionary in the chat. You may all just copy it. Wait, this is not it. Sorry, just a minute. Just copy this whole day, month, city thing here and make a dictionary. So did everyone do this?
Sir, can you also send it on WhatsApp?
Yes, sir, we are unable to open chat.
Wait, you guys cannot see the chat?
No, sir.
Oh.
No, sir.
Okay. So like just copy paste this and just run this cell. So is it working?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay, so now again just make a data frame out of this dictionary. So df equals to pd dot data frame of a, and just print out this data. So you'll see you have some rows and columns. The columns are day, city, temperature, wind speed, and event. And these are the days, and these are the cities, New York, and you have Mumbai and Paris. You have on separate days there the temperature in these cities, the wind speed, and what kind of event was it? Was it rainy, sunny, snowy, and everything? Okay, so any doubt while making this?
No, sir.
Okay, so now what we'll be doing is we'll be grouping all of this data by the city column we have. So what it means is, what this means is you'll have New York. New York would be like one thing because we are grouping by city. So pandas will take all the unique values in the city, which are New York, Mumbai, and Paris. So it will take New York as one thing, Mumbai is one thing, and Paris is one thing. And then you can apply some functions in it. So grouping would be the splitting thing, and then you can apply functions. So let's say you apply max, and then it combines. So when you apply max, so it would give, if you apply max in temperature, so it will give you the max temperature in New York, max temperature in Mumbai, and max temperature in Paris. Had you directly applied max on this temperature thing without grouping, तो वो ये जो पूरी list है इसमें से सबसे बड़ी value दे देता 92. But you want all of the maximum temperatures based on cities. You know, real life में there could be questions like this. What was the maximum temperature in all the cities, in each city? So wherever this in each city type comes, type of question comes, you need to use the group by feature. Okay, so how do you use the group by thing? So we'll be storing this in G, the whole group by thing, and the way you group by is you write df dot group by, and then the column which you want to group by. So you write city and you run this. So any problem till here? I'll just show you what it all means, whatever I said. Okay, so I hope you all made G. And now if you just print out G, okay. So what does it say? Okay, कुछ तो फालतू सा लिखा है, we don't care. And then it says कि data frame group by का ये object है. Okay, the G is a object of data frame group by. Okay, now I want you to understand that what pandas internally did while making G and how this object G looks like. Okay, nobody really shows or runs the following code I'm going to show right now. They'll just group by and then they'll just start applying functions. Okay, but just to see how the things look like, just write list of G. Okay, and print this out. So you'll see what pandas did. It based our whole data frame, it grouped it by city, it took all the unique values, New York, Mumbai and Paris. So it took Mumbai and it made a different data frame for Mumbai. So you can see कि ये जो 4 rows इसने निकाले हैं इसमें day Mumbai है, ठीक है. It took New York and then इसने एक अलग data frame बनाया just for New York, and then it took Paris and then it made a new data frame just for Paris. So this is what pandas internally did when you ran this code. Okay, if you see the length of this object, it gives you 3, which is for Mumbai, New York and Paris. Okay, and let's say you want to get, and now there are 3 groups. Mumbai is a group, New York is a group, Paris is a group. And let's say you want to get a particular group. So the function for getting it is g dot get group, and then whatever group you want. Let's say you want the group of Mumbai. So you write this and you get the table in which all the cities are Mumbai. Okay, any problems still here?
No problem.
Okay, now we'll just look at something like what and when was the maximum temperature in each city. Okay, so for this what you can do is, if you directly run g.max, so pandas will see कि कौन सी values का max निकाल सकते हैं. So obviously temperature and wind speed are numerical values जिनका maximum निकल सकता है. So it will just give you everything based on cities. So you see कि आपको Mumbai का you got the maximum temperature which is 92. So we called the Mumbai group here and we can see there are 4 different temperatures and उसने 90, 85, 87, 92 का max दिया 92. Okay, with New York also you can see the temperatures are 32, 36, 28, 33 and it must have given 36. So yeah, so this is what it did. Okay, I hope this makes sense. Same with the wind speed. It will give you result based on the column you grouped by things. So you grouped by city and then अलग-अलग cities के लिए you will get आप जो भी function लगा रहे हो. So now I hope this makes sense. Split is the grouping thing. You applied the function max and then pandas combined everything to give you this result based on cities. Okay, now to the original question, what and when was the maximum temperature? So आपने जो group बनाया, you can access the temperature column and then just do a max and you can see 92, 36 and 54 were the maximum temperatures in Mumbai, New York and Paris. when like day वगैरह चाहिए तो वो यहाँ से मिल जाएगा. So I hope this made sense. Okay, now just to look at another question. What were the average wind speed in each city? See, questions आपके सामने ऐसे directly आएंगे कि what were the average wind speed in each city, and you see the phrase in each city and you know कि okay, this is something where मुझे group by लगाना पड़ेगा. group by city करूँगा तो मुझे like हर city group में हो जाएगा, and then I can just apply the average function and वो मुझे दे देगा. So you can simply do g of g wind speed and उसका you can find the mean value. So you can see Mumbai में जो average wind speed थी, which is basically 5 plus 12 plus 15 plus 5 divided by 4. So वो just इसमें calculate करके it gave you these things. So any doubts still here?
No doubt, sir.
Okay, now there is a lot of things in group by, and group by is very difficult to understand. So I'm not digging I'm not going more deep into this. This was all there is to group by I'm covering. Otherwise, like there are a lot of things which are very difficult to understand. I'll just kind of apply it here once. So what I'm going to do right now is so in this purchase address you can see कि you have Boston, Portland, LA, Austin and all, and these are the cities, right? Now मैं बस एक नया column बना रहा हूँ city, and मैं ये चीज़ें like उसमें store कर रहा हूँ. Now मैं वो exactly कैसे कर रहा हूँ, you don't need to get it because it's kind of difficult, but still it uses all the things which we have learned before. So समझ आ जाना चाहिए, but नहीं आ रहा है so it's okay, just leave it. मुझे just group by का application दिखाना है, and उसके लिए मुझे cities चाहिए. So that's just what I'm doing. So this वाला code अगर नहीं समझ आता है, that's completely fine. So just a minute. So you can see now we got a new column known as city, जिसमें now you can see that we got this new column city जिसमें सारी cities stored हैं. अगर किसी को नहीं समझ आ रहा है पूरा कैसे हुआ है, that's okay. You don't need to. It's kind of difficult to understand this whole thing. So it's alright. Now मुझे just ये दिखाना था group by use कैसे करेंगे. Now यहाँ पे भी we will just use group by function. So df dot group by, we are grouping again by city, and we'll just run this. And let's say कि ये सारे जो customers हैं इन सब की you have the salary USD column, right? So अपन को हर city के basis पे average salary चाहिए. So what we can do is g of salary USD dot mean, and if we run this, so we can see कि Atlanta में जितने भी लोग रहते हैं according to this data set उन लोगों की average salary क्या है. So you have 91,000, Austin में 96,000, New York में you have 100,000. So this is all like real life scenarios. Okay, so any doubt with this?
सर वो सिटी वाला कोड बता सकते हो कैसा अपना सिटी में ग्रुप किया ना?
हाँ, right. So इसके लिए what I did was, alright. So first of all मुझे city column चाहिए, right? So I have these cities here. So मैंने just अपने data को देखा and I noticed a pattern कि सारी cities में like street number और street like house number and street name लिखा है, then there's a comma, then city है, then comma and then state और pin code है, ठीक है. So और ये हर जगह है. So I saw कि अगर मैं इसको by comma split करूँ, so I'll get this thing and this thing. So this is what I started doing, ठीक है. So मैंने परचेस एड्रेस वाला कॉलम लिया एंड मैंने उसको स्प्लिट किया बाय कॉमा, ठीक है. स्प्लिट बाय डिफॉल्ट स्पेस से करता है, अपन को स्पेस से नहीं करना है. तो मैंने एक बार अगर मैं इसे जस्ट स्प्लिट करने का ट्राई करूँ, स्प्लिट इज एन str फीचर ऑफ कोर्स, आई नीड टू कॉल str एज वेल. सो यू कैन सी मुझे सारे रोज का मुझे एक लिस्ट रिटर्न हो रहा है जिसमें जो 0th इंडेक्स है दैट इज दिस, जो फर्स्ट इंडेक्स है वो ये है, जो सेकंड इंडेक्स है वो ये है. नाउ आई वांट द सिटी, ठीक है, जो हर लिस्ट में फर्स्ट इंडेक्स है, ठीक है. सो ओके ऑल्सो मुझे इसको कॉलम्स में इसके कॉलम बनाने हैं मुझे, राइट, जो हमने यहाँ देखा था. लाइक मुझे ये कॉलम we got this Soparnika Nair, Darshit Desai thing, और मुझे इसको कॉलम करना था. So I wrote expand equals to 2. So that is what I did here too. So मैंने ये सेम चीज़ की एंड यहाँ पे मैंने expand equals to true किया. स्पेलिंग लिख के. So you can see now मुझे ये टेबल मिल गई है. एंड यू कैन सी कि 0th इंडेक्स वाली ये सब चीज़ है, 1 इंडेक्स वाली ये सब चीज़ है, सेकंड इंडेक्स वाली ये सब चीज़ है. ना मुझे चाहिए सिटीज़ आ रही हैं फर्स्ट इंडेक्स में. तो मैंने ये सेम चीज़ ली और इस पूरे का मैंने फर्स्ट इंडेक्स ले लिया. ओके, सो मुझे सारी सिटीज़ मिल गई एंड देन इस पूरी चीज़ को मैंने एक नया कॉलम बनाया, df सिटी, एंड देन उसमें स्टोर कर दिया. That's it. So like this was the like whole process while doing things. The same चीज़ है. So did that make sense?
Yes sir. समझ आ गया.
हाँ, this is like बहुत मेरे पास like एक और बहुत interesting चीज़ है जिसमें like errors वगैरह आते हैं proper जो मैं solve कर सकता हूँ, but like it's very difficult to understand and all, and सबको ऐसे समझ नहीं आएगा. So I'm leaving it out. So yeah, like but this was like one of the cases जब आप proper interesting data analysis वगैरह करते हो. This is like so interesting, like इस चीज़ से cities को निकालना, you split it and then you first index ले रहे हो, expand कर रहे हो, city में store कर रहे हो. So this is what you'll be using in real life. So you continue with all these things. So any other doubts with group by, and then ये I hope this makes sense. So any other doubts with this? If not, I'll move to the data cleaning thing. All right, so again, just make a new notebook. Okay. So this main data, I took it from the internet, and this doesn't really have missing values or anything like that, so we won't be able to apply here. And to easily visualize what's happening, we'll be making our own data frame जिसमें अपन जान पूछ के missing values डालेंगे and then उनको हटाएंगे. So I'll just name this SCOSH Pandas data cleaning. And you need to import NumPy here too, along with pandas. Real उसमें काम करते टाइम like आपको चाहिए ही होंगे दोनों. So just import this here. And this is the dictionary you want to use. Just paste it और इसका एक data frame बना लो. तो इतना हो जाए तो tell me. हुआ किसी का?
डन सर।
सर डन हो गया।
हो गया ना? Okay. Now data cleaning is probably the most important thing, and this is something जो आप start में करते हो, ठीक है? This was a perfect data, good data जिसमें missing values नहीं थी, इसलिए अपन ने directly ये सब चीज़ें apply कर दी और ढंग से apply हो गया. But it could be possible कि बीच में missing values वगैरह हो तो उसको starting में ही हटाना पड़ता है. Starting में, and by start I mean like पूरा लाइक ये df देखा, छोटे छोटे ये सब बेसिक फंक्शंस देख लिए, उसके बाद द नेक्स्ट थिंग यू नीड टू डू इज देखना पड़ता है कि बीच में कहीं मिसिंग वैल्यूज है या नहीं, उन्हें हटाना पड़ता है. उसके बाद ही यू कैन अप्लाइंग थिंग्स. नहीं करोगे तो कैलकुलेशंस में एरर आ सकती है, फालतू एरर्स बीच बीच में आ सकते हैं, एंड दिस हैपेंस. ओके, सो नाउ मिसिंग वैल्यूज आती क्यों हैं? सो यू हैड द CSV फाइल, ओके, एंड इवन विद एक्सेल यू कैन सी जब अपन इसको यहाँ पे इंपोर्ट करते हैं, so it shows कि some features might be lost because ये CSV फाइल है और आप एक्सेल में खोल रहे हैं because of that. The same thing we are doing here. CSV फाइल को अपन ने यहाँ पे pandas में import किया, तो it's possible कि import export ये सब करते टाइम कुछ values like change हो जाए, delete हो जाए, ये सब हो सकता है. ना इनकी reason क्या है I don't really know, but ऐसी सब चीज़ें हो सकती हैं, ठीक है. Now pandas recognizes two values as missing or like simply nothing, and those two values are NaNs, not a number values, sorry, like this thing, NaN values are none. Okay, for now just consider NaN and none as the same thing. You may you may use it interchangeably, it doesn't matter. Okay, so these are like the official values which pandas would recognize as missing और उन्हें वो drop कर पाएगा, ठीक है. Now these values NA and missing ये like custom values हैं. Okay, so it's like किसी को फॉर्म भरने के लिए दिया and उन्होंने just missing लिख के छोड़ दिया, ठीक है. Missing like pandas cannot recognize कि missing मतलब actual missing value, वो बस देखेगा कि हाँ जैसे नायर पटेल लिखा है वैसे ही missing भी कोई तो string है, ठीक है. And so इसके साथ कैसे डील करना है we will look later, but the official values, missing values which pandas can recognize is none and NaN. Okay, so any doubts still here?
No sir.
Okay, now first of all to see कि कौन सी values NA हैं या नहीं हैं, the function is df dot is NA. So it just tells you कि is it NA or is it not NA. So you can see like Soparnika, Nair, her email address and her age. So these are all false because these are not NA values, these are something, right? Same with Yash and Meghna. If you look at Sid Nair, none 25. So you have Sid ka false, Nair ka false, none ka it's true because pandas recognize कि none जो है वो एक missing value है, and then ये false, ठीक है. Similarly with fourth index NA and NaN not a number and none, these all are missing values, so these all are trues. Okay, and in the last call row, as I said, these are custom missing values, these are not actual missing values, so pandas cannot recognize them as missing, so it gives false. Pandas is thinking कि हाँ बस जैसे यश मेघना ये सब लिखा है वैसे ही NA भी कोई तो नाम है, किसी का नाम है. So but we know कि ये missing है, तो इनके साथ कैसे डील करना है we will look later, but right now we'll try to remove none and NaNs. Okay, so you can use the is NA function to see कौन सी values missing है कौन सी नहीं है. Okay, now we'll look at the important stuff, which is dropping NaN and none values. Okay, now okay. Now just apply this function df.dropNA and I'll explain everything. And just look what it does. If you do a df.dropNA and if you apply this, you see कि 0 से 6 में से 3, 4, 5 वाले गायब हो चुके हैं, ठीक है. 3, 4, 5 वाले are these things. Sid Nair, this whole NaN thing and none NA and anonymous thing. Okay, now we did not give any parameters here, but I'll tell you by default इसके अंदर parameters क्या होते हैं. So the first index is like x's, which is equal to index, and I believe you can do x is equals to 1 true, because x is equals to index, what it means is we are looking at all the rows. Okay, so basically हम जो drop कर रहे हैं, we are dropping rows. This is what it all means. ठीक है, columns भी drop कर सकते हैं, but we won't be really needing this. Real life में columns जैसे drop नहीं हो रहे होते हैं. There are rows जिनमें missing values होती है, जिन्हें उन्हें drop करना होता है. So we are x is equals to index mean we are dropping rows. Okay, and how are we dropping these rows? So by default the parameter is any. Okay, and if you just run this, so you see we get the same output. Now how equals to any, what it does is it means ki if any of the value in a particular row is nan or none, I'll drop it. Okay, so we saw कि यहाँ पे 0 1 2 6 से 3 4 5 गायब हुआ. So we can see 3 में if any of the value is nan or none, so we see कि इसका email none था, right? So it would drop it. तो उसने drop कर दिया. ठीक है. Fourth में if any of the values are nan or none, इसमें तो like सारी nan or none है, so it will drop this. ठीक है. इसमें भी if any of the values are nan or none, so I'll drop it. ठीक है. तो इसमें like 3 values were nan or none, so it dropped it. So did you understand this? Any problem with this?
No problem, sir.
Okay. Now one thing to note here is, so let's say कुछ तो survey form था and we gave it to people and like this guy Sid Nair, okay, उसने अपना survey form भरा, उसने अपना name भरा, last name भरा, age भरी, and let's say उसके बाद email नहीं था तो उसने I don't know blank छोड़ दिया या कुछ तो किया, and जब pandas में import किया तो वो none आ गया. Now जब हम rows drop कर रहे हैं, so Sid Nair is like कोई तो बंदा है, उसके पास बस email नहीं था, right? So उसको drop करना wouldn't make a lot of sense, right? So this thing how equals to any could create problem. ठीक है. So similarly yeah, so basically Sid Nair को drop करना would be wrong क्योंकि he was a person जिसने survey भरा and now you just drop the guy because उसके पास email नहीं था. So this is not how things are. ठीक है. Dropping this guy makes sense because इसका ना कुछ नाम है, ना कोई last name है, ना कोई email है, ना कुछ age है, कुछ है ही नहीं इसका. So he probably is not a person at all. So ये एक waste row है total and इसको drop करना makes sense. Okay. So for that what you do is you write the same thing and now how do you want to drop the rows? You want to drop it all. So why did not copy this? Okay. So what this means is pandas will drop rows in which all the values are either nan or none. So you can see in this only the fourth one is missing because only the fourth one had all the values as nans or nuns. Again, it did not remove the last one because pandas still considers na and missing as some values. It thinks कि na किसी का नाम है missing, किसी का surname है, age उसकी missing है, email address भी na है. These are not official names. So did this make sense? How equals to all would be used in real life? Because you cannot just drop every person just such एक भी चीज missing है. So did that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now what if like right now अभी हम देख रहे थे कि pandas was searching for nan and none values in all the columns, right? First के में अभी देख रहा है, last में भी देख रहा है, email में देख रहा है, age में देख रहा है, now what if हमें इस चीज को limit करना हो and let's say we want कि हमें सिर्फ email में देखना है कि email में nan और none values है या नहीं और उसके हिसाब से हमें delete करना है. So for that what we can do is df.drop na and again we want to work this along all the rows. So x is equals to index. Even if you don't put this, it's fine because it's a default parameter. तो ये होता ही है. Oh, actually you can see here. यहाँ पे दिख रहा है 0 equals to index and 1 for columns. So and default it is 0. Yeah, okay. So even if you don't write this, it's fine. But just so you understand, I'm writing everything. And then you can use how equals to, let's say, any. And then you want to limit all this dropping process to only email column. So the parameter called as subset, and you can set the subset equals to email. Okay, and yeah, if you this should be in like a square bracket. And if you run this, so what this means is pandas will look for nan and none values only in email. Now one thing to notice, since there is only one column, how equals to any और all doesn't really make any sense क्योंकि एक ही कॉलम है. Any and all तो like सब में देख रहे थे ना, इसमें और यहाँ तो एक ही कॉलम दिया, so this doesn't make really any sense. ठीक है, तो इसको अगर all भी कर दोगे तो भी सेम ही आएगा. देखो यहाँ पे थर्ड और फोर्थ इंडेक्स गायब है, वो ऑल कर दोगे तो भी थर्ड और फोर्थ ही गायब होंगे. ठीक है, एंड थर्ड और फोर्थ गायब क्यों है एग्जैक्टली? बिकॉज उनके उसमें लाइक NaN और नन वैल्यूज थी ईमेल में. सो डिड दिस मेक सेंस? एनीवन?
There's no doubt.
Cool. And now if you want to limit this dropping process to 2 of the columns, so you can do this like email के साथ साथ you wanna like आपको last और email में देखना है. तो and फिर यहाँ पे like any और all का difference आएगा कि if you do any तो मतलब वो देखेगा. Okay, wait, I'll just print out the DF again. And okay, one more thing to note कि drop जो है ना, it has this parameter in place equals to true, and हमें actually कुछ drop नहीं करना है क्योंकि हम बार बार changes देख रहे हैं ना, इसलिए मैंने कहीं पे भी in place equals to true नहीं लगाया है, इसलिए कहीं पे भी ये changes permanent नहीं हो रहे हैं. वरना like कभी भी करना हो तो you can comma करके you can write in place equals to true. ठीक है, but since we are continuously seeing changes, मुझे तुम लोगों को दिखाना है, so that's why मैं in place equals to true नहीं लगा रहा हूँ. So this is our original DF, कुछ drop नहीं हुआ इससे because किसी में भी अपन ने in place equals to true नहीं लगाया है. And what we did was कि we want to drop NA values and we want to look into the last and email columns, and उसमें भी if any of the last or email is NaN or none, it will drop it. So we can see उसने यहाँ पे 3, 4, 5 drop कर दिया, and that's because third column में pandas looked at last and email only, and it saw कि if any of this would be NaN or none, are deleted. So यहाँ पे email none था, so it deleted it. यहाँ पे तो दोनों हैं, it deleted it. यहाँ पे कुछ तो email था but ये NaN था, so it deleted it. Okay, and if you do all here, so that would mean कि दोनों last और email में NaN और none होना चाहिए, मैं तो ही delete करूँगा. So you can see उसने सिर्फ fourth वाला delete किया क्योंकि fourth में NaN और NaN था. It did not delete the third one because भले ही ये none है, यहाँ पे तो कुछ है, और ये it did not delete the fifth one because भले ही last NaN है, कुछ email ID भी था. So अगर like limit करना हो किस rows के हिसाब से किस column के हिसाब से drop करना है, you can use the subset, and फिर दोनों में देखना है, किसी एक में देखना है. So how equals to any and how equals to all is a thing. So did that make sense? Any doubts?
No, sir.
Okay. Now we'll look at the custom missing values. You can clearly see हम इतनी बार drop कर रहे थे and 6 कभी drop नहीं हो रहा था because according to pandas ये सारी values are like कुछ तो अच्छा है. ठीक है, these are not missing. But हम data को देख रहे हैं, हमें दिख रहा है कि these are NaN missing values. These don't make any sense. Okay, this 6th row is equivalent to the 4th row. Like सब rows बेकार हैं. Like सारी values बेकार है, but this pandas recognize नहीं कर पा रहा है. So it's simple. Like what we'll do is कि हम बस ये NA और missing जो दो words हैं उसको अपन pandas के official NaN या फिर none उससे replace कर देंगे, and then pandas would be able to recognize it. So that's literally the solution. You just do df.replace. You want to replace two things, so you put them inside a list, and आपको NA replace करना है and आपको missing replace करना है. Okay, and you want to replace them with NaN. So NaN values numpy के अंदर आते हैं, so you write np.nan. Okay, and you want this to be a permanent change, so you write in place equals to, now this is something जो हमें permanent करना है, right? So you write in place equals to true, and it would run. And if you do a df now, so you can see last के जो NA और missing values थे वो NaN बन गए हैं अब सारे, and now NaN values are something जो pandas recognize कर पाएगा. So also if you do a df.isNA, you can see कि अब last में जो पहले सारे false थे अब वो सारे true हो गए. ठीक है, and if you want to drop the columns again, just a minute. I'll be back, just a minute. Yeah, hello. Sorry, my younger brother was doing some stuff he shouldn't be doing. Okay. So we saw कि how हमने missing values को official values से replace कर दिया, and now you replace df.drop na. Again, you write x is equals to, okay, let's just not write it because it's a default value. You want to drop by how equals to all. So जहाँ पे सारी values बेकार होंगी वही drop हमें करना है, and this time we want things to be permanent. So we'll do in place equals to true, and now yeah, if you just print out the df, you'll see कि 4 और 6 वाले जो rows हैं वो delete हो जाएंगे. And this is said to be like you have cleaned your data now. कि 4th and जो 6th rows थे वो फालतू थे, तो आपने उन्हें हटा दिया completely, and this would be your proper data जिस पे आप analysis करोगे. So did this make sense? समझ आया? कुछ doubt है?
No doubt.
Okay, this is just one more function I want to tell you about, fill in a function. So in your data set, these none and nan values, these are kind of I don't really know why people would apply na, but let's just say कि यहाँ पे na n और none की जगह you just want a dash, ठीक है? So that would make sense thoda. So it's just fill na is something to fill these na values. So you df dot fill na, and you want to fill these values by a simple छोटा सा ऐसे dash, ठीक है? And if you do df, okay, yeah, we didn't do in place equals to true to make permanent changes, but if you do fill na, तो यहाँ पे जो भी चीज़ नहीं थी वहाँ पे एक simple dash लग चुका है. Okay, and why would you want to use it? So okay, in our example ये जो पूरी चीज़ है वो थोड़ा textual data है और सिर्फ एक ही numerical data था, but let's say आपके पास numerical data होता, ठीक है, almost पूरी चीज़ numerical होती, and आपको फिर कुछ mathematical functions apply करने हैं, तो obviously na, n और none इन पे तो sum, multiplication ये सब नहीं हो सकता है, so you might wanna replace them with simply zeros. So numerical data हुआ तो जो missing values है उसको आप 0 से कर दोगे, so that would make the calculation part easier. So this is just the fill na function. And any problem with this? No doubts?
No, sir.
Okay, now we are almost finishing. We'll just look at some of the interesting functions, and then we'll just finish things off. So first of all, if you want to know how many people are coders, so this is a question in assignment as well. So assignment is very easy, you don't need to worry a lot about it. Every question is whatever is taught here. So if you want to find out how many coders are there, there's a function for it which counts the number of unique values in your column. So we want to deal with the column coder, and the function is value counts. And what it does is वो सारी values दिखेगा coder में और जितने भी unique values हैं वो सब count करेगा. So now you know कि 4818 people are coders, 4879 are not coders. So this is just an important function. If you want to see the percentage of people, there's this parameter called normalize. Just set it equals to true, and आपको percentage मिल जाएगा. 0.49 people are coders, 0.50 are not coders. So I don't think you would have any doubt with this. If you just do it the same thing with salary, and if you do a value count, so basically जितनी भी unique salaries हैं वो कितने हैं वो मिल जाएंगे. So you can see there are 3587 people जिनकी salary are 50,000, and बाकी फिर there are only 75 people जिनका इतना है, and बीच में भी और होगा but वो truncate हो गया है. And so yeah, this is where something outlier concept and all comes. So you don't have to worry about that, but just the value count function was important. Okay, and you can apply little functions to certain columns. So if you want to find out the average salary, you can do simple things like salary USD, dot mean, and if you run this, तो जो पूरा salary था आपको उसका mean मिल जाएगा, so you get 96,000. And there are many things like बहुत चीज़ें कर सकते हो. Let's say आपको okay. So yeah, this was like the whole pandas thing. There are many functions, it's interesting functions there. I found this to be very interesting क्योंकि बहुत बार ऐसे yes no के cases होते हैं and you just want to count कितने लोग ये हैं कितने लोग वो नहीं हैं and all. So this was the value count function. Any doubt with this? Like I don't think there would be. Any doubts?
No doubt, sir.
Now just one last code. So we had this Excel file we imported here by using the read CSV. We did a lot of stuff, basic चीज़ें देखा, अगर NA values होती तो उसको अपन clean करते and then analyze वगैरह किया, filtering वगैरह किया, कितने लोग Python करते हैं वो सब देखा, renaming वगैरह की, getting salary in thousands, एक नया column वगैरह बनाया, split feature like properly explain किया, कितने लोग coders है, ये सब पूरा आपने analyze किया and you basically आपने table में manipulations करके आपने changes किए, right? And now you want to download these changes. So just like we read the CSV to like export this file, we imported this file in pandas. To export this file you have df.tocsv. 2csv is for exporting it in an CSV format, दूसरे formats में भी कर सकते हैं, and in brackets you just write आपको क्या नाम देना है file का. So I'm just writing analyzed SCOSH dataset क्योंकि analyze हो गया है and .csv में चाहिए अपन को, and if you just run this, so ये run हो जाएगा and you can now find this file here, file section में, and you can like download, you can even download this. So I'll download this here and you can see कि यहाँ पर dataset आ जाएगा analyzed वाला and yeah, now you can see कि हमारे original data set में ये सब था, उसके साथ साथ now we have this thing and this thing and then you can do more stuff like Excel में कुछ काम करना you can do it. So this is how you export a file. So yeah, any doubt with any of this? No doubts?
No, sir.
No doubt.
So yeah, this is where pandas end according to me. I know it was a bit difficult to understand everything, but you just need to like get more exposed to all these things and you'll be comfortable after few days. So I'm done from my side and now I believe Om will say. So,
Yeah. So I guess it was a wonderful workshop by Surat. And now we move towards the most awaited part of our 2-day schedule. That is the talk session with Ashwin Verma sir. So sir has worked with various professors and has interned as data analyst, software engineer, and ML and SQL and whatnot. So also he is recently placed at Deloitte USI. So congrats sir for that. Also I delightfully can say that he was also the former convener of SCOSH. So now let's welcome Ashwini sir. All yours. Sir, your voice is not on. Hello.
Yeah, you are audible, Om.
Yeah. Sir's voice is not audible like this. Mic is on, but voice is. Maybe you can rejoin the meet, I guess.
Yeah, I think he's rejoined.
So he's
Hello?
back. Yeah. Now you're audible.
Is it audible now?
Yeah. Yes.
Yes,
Now it's
sir.
audible.
Yes, sir. Okay, I think there was issue.
Yeah.
Begin. Just a second. Hello guys. I think all of you are doing well in this pandemic situation. I am Ashwin Verma from MSc final year in mathematics. So I think you enjoyed this session, right? Anyone of you would like to share your experience of this, like last 2 days? Anyone?
Yes, sir, it is very great session. We learned a lot of things about NumPy and Pandas.
How many of you were like for the first time doing something on a programming language like Python, like for the first time? Like I know there would be a lot of people who've been doing this for the first time, like with no prior coding experience or anything. Is there anyone like that? This is not a classroom, like you can feel free to say anything. I'm not your teacher or anything. I'm just a senior and just class ahead of yours. So don't feel shy or anything. Like be free. Feel free to ask your questions. We'll just start. We'll make it a little interactive by taking you in the conversation. So anyone?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I don't know about the Python before that, and for the workshop, I learned some basic Python. And yeah,
So how was your experience, like learning it for the first time? Did you find it easy or did you find it very hard?
sir, I find it very easy because I know the C# and Java, and it was very easy that there is no semicolon, nothing like that. Writing the code, and it's very simple. So yeah, and also the experience of this session is very good. Yes, sir. I learned many things of NumPy, linear algebra, and that thing. Yes, sir.
Yeah, so here comes the first point. Like he already mentioned that there were no semicolons and the code was very easy to grasp in, like what things were happening. So we'll start with why Python? Why Python for data science? Why not other language choices? Like we have multiple options available. Like there is R, there is C++. There are multiple options available for doing data science. Previously, we used R as the preferred language, but now most of the audience is shifting to Python. What is the reason for that? That is a big question. And why Python is the preferable choice for that? So to start with, the first point, I would say that it is readability of the code, the syntax of the code. Like it is so simple that by reading the code itself, you know that what is happening there. Like if you don't have any prior knowledge of Python or like anything, any information about the data sets or anything about that. But if you have a basic idea about mathematics, basic mathematics, like how the basic arithmetic is working, so by seeing the code itself, will be very comfortable that how the things are working. Like I attended this workshop like last 30 minutes. The code, you dealt with codes like mean, value count, replace. So all of them are self-explanatory. the code itself is very self-explanatory. So this is one point that makes Python the first and most preferable choice for a lot of people, like who are shifting to data science, who are starting their data science journey. Like in the starting for beginners, it is the first hurdle they face is learning the programming language. For doing anything, you need to learn first the syntax. Before understanding the concept, you need, like if we talk of English, before talking in English, you should be well versed with the vocabulary. You should be well versed with the terms used in it. If you are well versed with the syntax of the programming language, then only you can use it. So this is the reason why Python is the preferred language for data scientists. There are a lot of other reasons that we can call it an open source language. Anyone of you know what is an open source language or what is an open source software? Anyone?
Sir, as per my knowledge, open source is the thing where anyone can contribute to develop that.
Yeah, like the ownership is not given to a specific person. Like if you talk about Google Cloud, the ownership is like that product is owned by Google. You cannot contribute to Google Cloud. It is not an open source thing. But if you talk about Linux, if you talk about this Python, if you talk about LaTeX, these are all open source softwares. You don't need to pay a penny anything for this using these things. Like if you talk about Java, you need to for developer version you need to buy something, the development kit and all. But about Python, it is open source software. Like nobody owns this very thing. Like there are a lot of people using it. There are a lot of people who are contributing to it according to their use. And because of this, there is a large community of Python developers, Python users. If you are a beginner, you will find the best support in Python language. Like there are a lot of people working in it. We are having a large community of Python developers. So that is one of the another reason why people prefer Python. Because if you start with Python, it is obvious that you will deal with very small problems, very small issues, very small errors. So to clear all that, we have a large number of people who are sitting on the other side and they are ready to help you. They don't ask for any money or anything in favor. They just help you because their work is to contribute. They like to contribute to this language and this system. So we have a big community which will be always there to help, whether you are at a beginner level or you are at an advanced level. Like the developers discuss between themselves and then they reach to a conclusion. They develop a library. You all are familiar with libraries? You can name any library, any one of you? Like what libraries did you learn in last two days?
Yes, sir, I heard about Tkinter as a library.
What library?
So Tkinter, TKIN, graphical user.
What were the libraries you learned in last 2 days in this workshop?
So NumPy and Pandas.
NumPy and Pandas. So these were the two libraries. So anyone can define libraries for me? Any one of you? Other people can also speak, like there is no restriction.
The system defined code.
Yeah, not system defined code. That we won't call library. Anyone else?
Sir, Python is open source, so the code which is written by someone, we can import and use in our program to enhance the program.
Library contains basically predefined functions to use.
Basically, it is a piece of code which we use it directly in our program without writing it again. Like that is encapsulated. Piece of code that is encapsulated. Like if we are using the mean function, that is aggregated in some library. So if we are using the mean function, we don't need to understand the logic behind the mean. If you don't know what is mean, but we are simply applying the mean function over a data set, we are getting the mean out of it. We don't need to get into the technicalities of that. If you are implementing some machine learning algorithm, like if you are implementing, suppose KNN, So you don't need to really understand the technicalities of that KNN algorithm. You just need to write a code and the work will be done. So this is a part of the library. Like your things will be very much simplified. Like if I give you a data set of 10 elements and I ask you to find the mean, so it will be very easy for you that you will add up the numbers and then divide it by 10. But what if I give you a data set of, like, suppose 1 million data sets? Then it won't be easy for you to sum all the numbers and then divide it by 1 million. So for that purpose, the libraries were introduced. According to the use and according to the requirements, libraries were developed by these open source contributors. Like even you can contribute to this NumPy library, you can contribute to this Pandas library. There is still the work is still going on. You don't need to, if like suppose you are doing some work, you are working on some project and you think that you are writing some piece of code repetitively. So what you can do is you can basically convert it into a library and submit it to the NumPy library. So anyone else who has a similar kind of work can directly use your library. So this is one of the most important things, that the number of libraries in Python are like a large number of libraries. Anyone in the world, anyone who is interested in Python can create his own library according to his use. You don't need to write that same piece of code again and again. You just need to do it once, convert it into a library and then put it for use of everyone. You don't need to worry about the things that ये कैसे होगा, और एक बार तुमने कर दिया वो, so it will be helpful to everyone. So if you think that your work can be published, so you can do that. You can go forward with that. So in Python we have a lot number of libraries. You already learned about NumPy, you already learned about Pandas. So there are a lot of functions available. If you think you can create one more function for it, you can add it to NumPy and Pandas. Or not only NumPy and Pandas, for any library for that sake. So for the fourth thing, I would say that interactiveness is a very important thing in Python, which attracts a lot of people. If you talk about Java codes, if you talk about C++ codes, the whole code block is run, like the whole code block is compiled at one time. You cannot run individual lines. But you have seen that in Python, you were running the single line codes. You were manipulating the data frames. You were writing one line of code and then seeing the output in the very next line. Then you were again manipulating that data frame and then seeing the result in the very next line. That thing is not possible in any other programming language. Whether we talk of R, whether we talk of Java, C++. If you find an error, like if in a big block of code, if you find an error, so if you see an error, that will be very difficult to find, to track, to debug. But in Python, there is only one line of code and you are executing and then seeing your result. If you see anything unfamiliar or like unexpected, you can basically debug that single line of code and get the perfect result. So interactiveness is the fourth thing that comes to my mind when I talk of Python, like why Python is very helpful for data scientists. And in case we are dealing with data science is, like, in simple terms, for a layman we can define it as data manipulation. Basically the data manipulation thing, that we are manipulating the data, we are visualizing, we are getting out important features out of it, this kind of stuff. So interactiveness is important because you cannot perform multiple operations in a single block of code and then see the final result, right? If you are going wrong at any place, you will be able to see it at the same spot. You don't need to run the whole code again and again, and you don't need to debug that code again and again. You don't need to debug the complete code. You just need to debug that one line. So this is one of the most important features. Another thing that comes to my mind is speed of Python. Like Python is almost 10 times faster than R. If you don't talk about, we cannot compare it to C++. C++ is much faster in terms of programming language, but for data science, Python is the fastest language. If you ever run a code and compare its runtime or its CPU uses, memory uses, so Python will be the best choice. in terms of speed. And the last but not the least point that comes about the versatility of Python. Like Python is very versatile. You are using it for data science here, but the number of, as I told you earlier, that the number of libraries are like, we cannot imagine the number of libraries available in Python. You can develop mobile apps through Python, you can develop web apps through Python, you can develop games, you can write back-end code, you can write front-end code, not front-end, sorry, back-end code, you can do machine learning, artificial intelligence codes, then you can code hardware programming you can do with Python. So Python is very versatile. No other programming language is this versatile. In terms of versatility, Python leads the table. As I told you, like there are a lot of applications running on Python backend. There are a lot of games running on Python. So Python is very versatile. Any other point like anyone would like to add to it? Why Python should be preferred? Like the experienced people who have used Python. Surya maybe.
So I'll think about it this one. I actually pointed all these things out. You said even like yesterday when starting, like why Python for data science. I covered like it has so many libraries. I named all of them. Matplotlib 1, 2. I told them how pandas could be better than Excel and SQL and everything. And
okay, so you have already done my part. So then let's directly skip to the questionnaire part. Like you are free to ask any questions about anything, like be it data science, be it internship, be it placement, or any type of questions you are, all of you can ask. Feel free to ask your questions. And as everything is cleared by Surya earlier.
नहीं सर ऐसा कुछ थोड़ा सा बताता हूँ.
अरे नहीं मतलब तुमने कर रखा है तो कोई दिक्कत नहीं है ना, मतलब एक ही चीज को दोबारा बताने कोई पॉइंट नहीं. ठीक है, चिल है, कोई दिक्कत नहीं.
So yeah, yesterday someone was asking me like real life practical application something, and I told कि आज पूछ सकते हो, if he is here he could ask.
Practical life application of what?
I think he was asking like NumPy and pandas itself. कि कहाँ पे real life use करें.
Doing today was the real life application, I guess.
Yeah.
Like we can directly use it into some application or some web app or some mobile app, calculations. NumPy is the most basic library of Python. If we talk about data science, all the arithmetic operations are done here. Like we are talking about the basic mathematic operations. So mathematic operations are everywhere. If you are using a web app or you are using a mobile app, the mathematical calculations are almost everywhere.
Anyone else has any questions, they can turn on their mic.
Hello sir.
Yes.
Sir,
Bolo?
sir, for pursuing the career in data science, what are the skills we should learn first, and what are the steps we should take in?
Okay. Career-wise, we can start with learning the language. Like Python is the most basic step you should know before starting your career. Like I don't say Python, but Python is the most preferred language. But if you are more comfortable with other language like R or C++, you can go with that. But one language is compulsory to go ahead. Another thing is, once you are done with your language things, once you have got a good command over the libraries, you can shift to the projects. You can search for good projects. There are a lot of projects in which they guide you step by step. So in starting, what you can do is you can do a guided project where they will guide you about every small step. They will guide you step by step that do this thing, close this tab, write this piece of code, and they will explain you very nicely. So once you are done with your skills, once you are done with the basics of Python, once you are done with the basics of all the required libraries like Python, NumPy, Matplotlib, and scikit-learn, at least these 4, then you can go to the project part. Once you start doing the project, there is a lot of things you will get to learn. Like doing it on some sample data set and doing it on some real data set has a lot of difference. Like in a real data set, you will face a lot of difficulties. So you will learn how to get over the difficulties. Like here you got a very clean data set. The data set was very clean, the data was very clean, the inputs were correctly filled. But in real data sets, you won't get such a clean data set. There will be a lot of difficulties. Like you need to clean the data set first. You need to basically, sometimes you don't even get the data set. You will need to scratch it out from the web. You'll need to arrange it, convert it into a required format of yours. So there is a lot of difficulty when you are doing a project, and that is where the learning part comes in. Like what you are doing now is somebody is teaching you and you are learning it by the teaching. But once you begin doing it yourself, it becomes the most useful and it's the most useful thing. Like you will learn it by yourself and you will never forget it. Like this is my personal experience. Like once you start doing it yourself, it is very helpful. So I'll suggest you to once master these skills, these libraries, and then shift to the project. Start with guided projects, do 1 or 2 guided projects, and then find some real data sets on Kaggle, and there are a lot of other websites. Take out some data sets and can even participate in hackathons that are regularly happening on Kaggle and other websites. Analytics Vidya, and there are a lot of more websites where you can actually participate in a hackathon, and where what you can do is they will give you a data set, they will give you a problem statement, and you need to solve that. So that will be a test of your skills basically. And once you have a good project on your resume, getting a placement is very easy, like very easy. So this will be the proper roadmap that I would suggest. Is it clear, Satya Prakash?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Sir, I wanted to ask, can any student in any branch pursue data science, or is it only limited to mathematics and computer science students?
No. Like if you talk about data science is more than the maths people, physics people are using it. More than the maths people, chemistry people are using it. If you talk to your physics seniors, like I am in touch with a lot of people in physics who are actually doing data analysis. There are a lot of data analysis projects in physics as well as chemistry. So it is not limited to a branch, like it is not limited to mathematics. Anyone and in any branch can do data analysis. Like this is the most trending technology now, and like I'm not talking about even sciences. Anyone in the commerce field, even anyone in the arts field can even do data science. Data science is very easy to begin with. So it is not restricted to your branch. And if you are trying to pursue a career in research, then maybe today or tomorrow you will have to do data science. If you are trying to pursue a career in either physics or chemistry or even mathematics, you will have to deal with data science at some point. Be very clear about that. Mostly for the physics people.
Yes, adding to sir's point, like I am personally from chemistry department, and like also in analytical chemistry, Python comes in the computational part, like we do analysis and all.
Yes.
Yeah.
It will be very helpful. Like there are on certain projects, there is a prerequisite that you must know at least one programming language so that you can proceed with the other things. Like if they give you a data set and they ask you to perform certain operations, then that is where you need the data science. And learning a programming language is must for everyone. I would say that you should at least know one programming language very well. Like it is not like if you are trying to pursue a career in research, then you should not know programming language. Programming language is must. Knowing a programming language is must. And Python is so versatile that if you learn Python, then it will be very easy for you to switch between the technology. Like if you are doing data science and then you don't feel that I think that you cannot do data science, you want to switch to software development, so you can easily just change the libraries and switch to software development. You just need to learn that library and then proceed. And you are always, and you are already familiar with the basic syntax, so it won't be very difficult to switch from one library to another library. It will be very easy. Any more
Anyone
doubts? Like,
else?
was it clear?
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
Anyone else? Yes.
I just want to that this is not a classroom. I'm not your teacher.
Yeah.
So feel free to ask your questions. Don't be shy about your questions. Your questions can be very basic, and try to learn to ask questions. Like, make a habit to ask questions if you don't know. Like, if you have doubt about a single thing, ask it out. Don't feel shy or don't feel like underconfident. Feel free to ask.
Sir, where to get internship?
What? Can you repeat your question? Hello?
Sir, where to get internship?
Like in field of data science, you are asking, na?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
There are a lot of sources for internships. Like, once you are done with the skills part, as I said, once you are done with the skills part and you have done some guided projects, like 1 or 2. So what you can do is you can represent all your skills and all your projects done in a form of resume. I think you all know about resume, like what is a resume. It is in our curriculum, I guess.
Yes,
This
sir.
is a very question, but I just need to confirm that all of you are well aware with curriculum vitae and the resume. So what you can do is you can prepare a good resume of yourself and then start applying to companies. Now the part comes of like how to apply in companies. Not only companies, there are like many people want to pursue a research career. So there are institutions, like there are IITs, there are NITs, there are institutes in foreign countries. So what you can do is let's start with the research thing. If you are trying to pursue a career in research field, so what you can do is you can go to the institute website, find the professor, like find the department you want to work in. Like, if you are from physics and you want to pursue a career in physics, you want to pursue a career in dark matter physics maybe. So you can find a professor of dark matter physics in that institute, and you can directly mail him that, sir, I am interested. These are my skills. This is my introduction, and I want to pursue a research internship under your guidance. So, and based on your skills, based on your what you want, if he or she is willing to take you as an intern, you will get that intern. So research internships are as easy as that. Like, there are less probability that you will get a reply very soon. Like, out of 200, maybe you will get 20 or maybe 10 replies. Out of that, most of them will be a negative reply that, sorry, I cannot take an intern. But you just need to keep trying. Like, most of the professors are not free, so you just need to keep trying. Now if you talk about the industrial internships, there are a lot of sources. The first one I would prefer is LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a great source for industrial internships. Not only internships, for jobs also. Like, there are a lot of hirings posted there every day. A lot of, like, thousands of jobs are posted there. You just need to build connections. Like, if you want to work work in a certain company, you just need to connect people from there. You can even directly text them, message them on LinkedIn and ask for it. Like, you can text a person working there and ask for, like, what skills I must have that I can work in this company as an intern or as a full-time data scientist. So you need to make a very good profile on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a very good source for connections. Like, make connections there. Not only like connections. By connections, I mean you just need like, that is not limited to sending connection requests and getting accepted and increasing your connection list. Be more interactive with your connections. Like, talk to them, like the people who share a similar interest as you have. So talk to them, you can message them. The people there are very friendly and they will surely help you out. Another source is visiting the company's careers page. A lot of companies have their careers page, and on that they post about like what research or opportunities they have in the R&D department, or what internship opportunities they are having currently. So you can fill up the form and get in there. And there are a lot of other websites too which you can head to and like simply apply, maybe through mail, or there are a lot of websites, there are a lot of companies and institutions that take internships through portals. Some of them take exams and all. So there are a lot of ways. But for all of that, the basic thing that you need is a good resume and some skills. Skills are very important before pursuing an internship. Like, they will teach you in the internship, they will guide you, but you need to have some strong base. Then only it will be very helpful. Is it clear to the one who asked this question?
Yes, sir.
Any more questions?
Hello, sir. Hello,
Yes.
sir.
Yes.
Hi, sir.
Sir.
Hi, Ashwin, sir.
Hi.
Hello. Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, you're on.
So first of all, congratulations for the triple placement. And I should say that we have all opened a path for your juniors in this industrial, in this all the job placements and all, because this is the first time we are getting placements. So thanks for all that. And sir, now being a fourth year, I think there is no other fourth year right in this meet. I would like to tell your experience of all these drives, in which what were the things you took care of and what you did for getting excellent results in this placement drive of our on-campus placements.
There is a very important tip I would say for the third year, the current third year. Like, start working on projects. Start working on some very good projects, so that at the end of fourth year, like our placement season started in August. Like, as soon as we started our fifth year, the placement season started. So you cannot do a project after the placement season has already commenced. You need to have a good project by the end of fourth year. Start working on a good project. Find yourself a good project. You'll already know, like, then there comes a question like, what is a good project and what is a bad project? It's not about the good or bad. Basically, the thing is what your contribution was in the project. What did you learn out of that project? Like, a lot of people do projects, but if you ask them a single question about the project, like why did you choose this library, or why did you choose this certain data frame, what was the objective? So a lot of people fail in that. So by good project, I mean that a project in which you are very confident, a project in which your contribution is like, in which you feel very confident about, like you know everything about that project, like why you choose certain things, why you choose this specific problem, and other details. So this is the thing that helped me a lot. Having a good project on my resume helped me get to this thing, that if you are having a good project, first of all, you will have a good resume. A lot of companies do resume shortlisting. So if you are having a good project, if you are having a good resume, you won't get out of the list. You will be shortlisted easily. A lot of my friends, what did they do? They made very usual resumes, like the project, there were no projects, and their resumes were easily rejected. Like, without the recruiters just saw the resume, and there was nothing to look upon. So there was just the basic information. So the recruiters saw that this person has done nothing significant in his college life apart from the academics. So why should we take him? So the first shortlisting is done on the resume basis in maximum of the companies. Another thing to work upon is regarding placements is your communication skills. Communication skills are most important. Even if you clear the written round, then what about the interviews? You need to clear a personal interview, maybe a HR interview, maybe a managerial interview, to a technical interview to get into the company. I got placed in TCS. That was the first placement for our batch, and I was alone from the MSc to attend it. So, and that was first interview for me also. So I was very nervous, and there was total 3 rounds of interview. The first one was technical, then I had a managerial interview, then I had a HR interview. So they talked about a lot of things. The interview lasted for around 40 to 45 minutes. They asked about a lot of things, like the things that you cannot expect. They can talk about those things. Like they asked me about the clients of the company that I work for as an intern. They asked about the clients, like what are the clients and what work they do. So they opened the company. They asked me the company name, like what in which I am working, and then they opened the website of that company and then asked about the details of the clients, like what clients, to just verify that if you were really there or you are just fluffing the thing. So for that you need to be very confident about your thing. So start working on your communication skills. And English is the medium of communication. Work on your. Another thing, if you want to go into some software role or some tech company, you need to have a strong coding background. Like a lot of companies take coding tests. Out of the 3 companies which I got selected, only TCS had a coding round, and they only called those people. There were 2 coding questions and some aptitude questions. So, but the most weightage was of the coding questions. There were 2 coding questions. Only those people were called out for the interview who got their both coding questions like completely done. There are test cases. If all the test cases were completed successfully, then only those people were called for the interview, not everyone. So I guess only 19 people were called for the interview, like from the whole campus. And I was very nervous about that TCS thing. About Deloitte and Sears, there were no coding rounds. They only had aptitude, but their interviews were a bit difficult. They focused more on the your resume. Like they asked me a lot of questions. Maximum 90% of the questions were from my resume. They asked me about my skills, and they almost verified everything that I had written in my resume. They asked me about the back-end technologies I had worked on, the front-end technologies, and everything. So, having a good resume is the must thing if you are going for a placement. That will get you a job very easily. I'm not saying that if you have not done projects, then you cannot get a job. That would be very wrong to say. You will get a job even if you don't have a project. But like you have to put in extra efforts for that. Like I didn't put any extra effort to get the job. Like I was just following my coding routine and some aptitude practice. And I specifically didn't prepare anything for the interviews basically. The interviews were I was nervous, but it was very easy going. Like once I was I was comfortable with the interviewers, like after 5 minutes of the comments of the interview. So it became very easy. Like when we talk about something you are very confident in, then the conversation goes very easy. Then it just converted into a conversation, not in an interview. It was very easy going. Like they were just asking me questions and I was answering them. We just had a normal discussion, or you can call a normal conversation about the things that I worked on. So resume is the first point. Communication skills, and by resume you obviously mean the projects. Without projects you can also get the job, but you will have to put in some extra effort and you have to wait for some time. Like people not having projects may have to wait for a few months before getting a job. That may be a flaw, you can say. And the other thing that I would say is coding. If you are going for a tech profile, then your coding must be strong. Even if you are a data science person, data science enthusiast, a lot of data science companies take up coding tests. So at least you should be well aware of the basic coding things. You should be well aware of the arrays. You should be well aware of strings. At least these 2 concepts in basic programming you should be well aware of. The basic logics. So I think it is clear, Vaibhav?
Yes, sir.
Anything else do you want to ask?
Hello, sir. Hello, sir. Sir, can I ask one question? सर मतलब सर कैन आई कंटिन्यू हिंदी?
हाँ हाँ बिल्कुल।
सर मतलब ये अपनी अगर ऑन कैंपस अगर कॉलेज की बात करें तो फिर वहाँ पे सारी ब्रांचेस को अलाउ है क्या मतलब?
नहीं मतलब बहुत सारी कंपनीज में ऐसा है कि वो कुछ स्पेसिफिक ब्रांचेस को लेते हैं, मतलब मैक्सिमम मैक्सिमम कंपनीज में CS को तो लेते ही हैं। अपने वाले में कुछ कंपनीज ऐसी है जो हमको अलाउ नहीं करती, बट देयर आर अ लॉट ऑफ कंपनीज विच अलाउ MSc people, so that is not a big difficult।
अच्छा सर जैसे आप अभी TCS के लिए बताया था,
हाँ
वैसे तो वो सभी मतलब अपने MSc में फिजिक्स डिपार्टमेंट में सभी को अलाउ करते हैं?
हाँ कभी मतलब देखो मतलब प्रोफाइल पे डिपेंड करता है। अगर आपका TNP कोऑर्डिनेटर का है तो वो करा सकता है, मतलब TCS में तो उन्होंने सबको अलाउ किया था, डेलॉयट में भी आई सबको ही, मतलब अगर वो MSc को अलाउ कर रहे हैं मतलब सबको ही अलाउ कर रहे हैं। किसी में ऐसा होता है कि सिर्फ वो मैथ्स को अलाउ करते हैं, मतलब अगर टेक की बात करें, जैसे बाइजूस वगैरह आती हैं प्रोफाइल के लिए, तो उसमें वो सबको अलाउ कर रहे हैं।
हाँ सर मतलब कभी कभार रहता है कि मतलब उसके इंजीनियरिंग स्टूडेंट या फिर वो सर्किट ब्रांच लेते हैं तो फिर अपन अप्लाई नहीं कर पाते वैसे।
सॉरी तुम्हारी आवाज
हेलो
हाँ वापस एक बार रिपीट कर।
हाँ सर मतलब यही पूछ रहा था कि मतलब कभी कभी काफ़ी मतलब वो बोटलनेक बन जाती है कि मतलब कंपनी सिर्फ है ना सर्किट ब्रांच को अलाउ करती है तो फिर अपन अप्लाई नहीं कर पाते, इससे एक बड़ा डाउट होता है मतलब।
तो तुम्हारा एक तुम्हारी क्लास से फाइनल ईयर में जब तुम फाइनल ईयर जाओ तब एक ट्रेनिंग एंड प्लेसमेंट कोऑर्डिनेटर होता है तुम्हारे कोई बैच में, तो दैट पर्सन कोऑर्डिनेट विद द ट्रेनिंग प्लेसमेंट ऑफिसर ऑफ द इंस्टीट्यूट। और फिर अगर आपको लगता है कि इस सर्टेन स्किल के हैं मेरे, देन ही कैन टॉक टू द ट्रेनिंग एंड प्लेसमेंट ऑफिसर कि हमको हमारी क्लास में ऐसे बच्चे हैं जिनको इस कंपनी में अप्लाई करना है, एंड इफ द ट्रेनिंग एंड प्लेसमेंट ऑफिसर अप्रूव यू कैन फॉर दैट कंपनी। लाइक TCS में हमारे साथ यही हुआ था कि स्टार्टिंग वी वर अलाउड, देन आफ्टर फ्यू डेज they said that we won't be allowed for TCS because we are in, but the training and placement coordinator talked to the that TMP ma'am and we got permission that okay math people are allowed. So a lot of things depend on your coordinator, but maximum of the companies allow. That is not a big, a lot of companies hire math.
Yes sir, yes.
सर
डेटा और ऐसे इन्फोसिस है, इन्फोसिस भी सबको अलाउ कर रही है, तो मतलब कंपनी को लेके उतना वो नहीं है, दिक्कत नहीं है।
तो सर
हाँ
सर आई हैव अ क्वेश्चन, ये जो डेटा साइंस की फील्ड है और ये डेटा एनालिटिक्स की फील्ड है, तो इन दोनों में कोई मेजर डिफरेंस है या फिर ऑलमोस्ट सेम ही है?
देखो मतलब स्टार्टिंग में तो ये तुम्हारे लिए सेम है। स्टार्टिंग में जो तुम करते हो वो डेटा एनालिसिस ही होता है। डेटा साइंस इज समथिंग वेरी बिग, जहाँ पे यू विल मतलब अभी तुम्हें जो नॉलेज है वो सिर्फ डेटा एनालिसिस की नॉलेज है, जो अभी हम कर रहे हैं वो डेटा एनालिसिस है। वंस यू गेट द डोमेन नॉलेज लाइक बिजनेस नॉलेज, कि बिजनेस में हमें क्या टर्म्स की जरूरत पड़ने वाली है, व्हाट हाउ आवर एनालिसिस इज गोइंग टू बूस्ट आवर बिजनेस, हाउ द conclusions from the data is going to boost our business. And the third thing, the application part, the software part, like how it will be implemented. If you know all these three, then it comes under the roof of data science. Like data analysis is a part of data science, but if you talk about exact data science, you will need to have knowledge of the data analysis thing, then the business thing, like how the business is working, the model of the business, and the third thing is the application, like how it will be implemented as a software, or like how the model will work exactly. Like for us at this level, data science and data analysis are almost same.
तो सर मतलब डेटा साइंस डेटा एनालिस्ट की फील्ड से जब आगे जाते हैं तो उसके लिए कोई डिफरेंट स्किल रिक्वायर्ड होती है, मतलब डेटा साइंस के लिए?
वही है ना कि मतलब डेटा साइंस के लिए आपको डेटा एनालिसिस तो पहले से आती है, लेकिन वंस यू जॉइन द कंपनी यू गेट टू नो अबाउट द बिजनेस मॉडल्स, लाइक हाउ दिस मॉडल इज बीइंग, द डेटा एनालिसिस टूल्स यू आर यूजिंग और द एनालिसिस यू आर डूइंग, कैसे वो कंपनी को कैसे हेल्पफुल है, अगर किसी कंपनी के बिजनेस को बढ़ाना है तो वो कैसे हेल्पफुल है। तो वहाँ पे वो आपको बिजनेस नॉलेज मिल जाएगी डोमेन की, एक स्पेसिफिक डोमेन की। मान लो कि अगर कोई इंश्योरेंस कंपनी है, तो अगर इंश्योरेंस कंपनी में कोई डेटा है आपके पास, आप उसको एनालाइज कर रहे हो, तो उससे जो आपका कंक्लूजन निकलता है, जो विजुअलाइजेशन करते हो आप, तो उस विजुअलाइजेशन को आप यूज़ करके कैसे आप बिजनेस को बढ़ा सकते हो। लाइक इफ यू टॉक अबाउट, यहाँ पे आप क्या कर रहे हो कि आप एक सिर्फ विजुअलाइजेशन करके छोड़ दे रहे हो कि मान लो आपने देखा कि समर्स में एक सर्टेन प्रोडक्ट की डिमांड बहुत ज़्यादा है, तो ये आपका सिर्फ विजुअलाइजेशन हो गया। लेकिन इफ यू टॉक अबाउट इट इन द कंपनी टर्म्स या कंपनी मॉडल के टर्म्स में बात करोगे, तो दिस कैन बी यूज एज एन अपॉर्चुनिटी कि अगर समर्स में इस प्रोडक्ट की डिमांड ज़्यादा है तो देन वी कैन इंक्रीज आवर प्रोडक्शन, और इस डिमांड कम है तो इसकी प्रोडक्शन घटा के दूसरे वाले प्रोडक्ट की प्रोडक्शन बढ़ा दो, तो you'll get a boost in the business. And third, इसका implementation कैसे। Okay, is it clear now?
Yes sir, thank you sir.
Anyone has any other doubts, or maybe we can end our session and workshop now. So yeah, the recordings will be shared with you soon as we upload it on our YouTube channel. Then you will be also given an assignment based on the 2-day workshop, and once you submit those assignments, you will be provided with the completion of the participation certificate for the workshop. Okay. Assignment will be shared in the group. Yeah.
Just one thing I would like to say to all the participants, like this is the first step towards data science, or you can say the programming language Python for the beginners, absolute beginners. So one suggestion from my side is don't stop practicing. Once you stop practicing, you will forget things. So keep it in the practice. If you want to practice questions, there are a lot of websites where you can head on to and you can directly practice the questions. Try to learn new things. Like it is not like that कि एक बार तुमने सीख लिया, अभी तुमने वर्कशॉप कर लिया, then you know Python. ऐसा नहीं. Keep practicing it. Keep increasing your knowledge. क्योंकि बहुत बार ऐसा होता है कि मतलब हम जब कोई काम करते हैं तो हमें बहुत अच्छे से समझ आता है, लेकिन जब हम उसको छोड़ देते हैं, फिर 6 महीने छोड़ दो, तो फिर वो 6 महीने बाद उसको रिकॉल करना बहुत मुश्किल काम होता है। तो डोंट लीव इट हियर, कीप प्रैक्टिसिंग। और मतलब इसमें भी अगर कोई हेल्प चाहिए तो कैन आस्क आउट योर जो अभी 3rd ईयर में उनको भी पूछ सकते हो, और मतलब ऊपर के ईयर को भी पूछ सकते हो, इजीली कॉन्टैक्ट कर सकते हो, कोई मतलब ऐसे भी मना नहीं करेगा।
Also, there will be one like YouTube playlist thread. It would be having many of the pandas videos. You can properly learn through it. I also learned through those videos, and there will also be like around 1 or 2 videos where this guy properly implements all the pandas feature into actual data analysis. So once you learn pandas from those around 10 videos, you can look at those 2 videos. So that would also help and motivate you to take projects of your own. So yeah.
And also, if you want to ask any questions in further future, we won't be dissolving the group. You can ask it there. We will be always there to help you there. So like in future also, if you have any doubts, you can just easily access the group and ask us questions. We will be answering there. So feel free to ask your questions in the group also.
Yeah, and I'll also share these Google Colab notebooks with you, just like yesterday. So you can look into that.
I think we can end the session, right? Right.
Yeah. Thank you guys. It was wonderful session.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, SCOSH team, for inviting me here. It was a great.
Yes. We were also delighted to have you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir.
Very difficult to interact with juniors after this online session started. Like I hardly know any of one of you. I just know Suryam because he was in contact with me since his first year, so I just know him. And not. It would be very good if you keep interacting with your seniors, not only all of us, in the final year or in the fourth. It was a great conversation. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah.